Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Kristen Deese.
Welcome back to another episode of Freedom Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Deese, and today I am joined by my amazing guest co-host, my wife, Kristen Deese.
What's up?
What's happening?
Not much. It's Friday.
It is, at the time of recording, it is Friday, which you should tell everybody about your shirt.
So yeah, every Friday I wear red. Usually I wear this shirt, but I at least try to wear the color red if I can. Red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. We currently have a child that is in that situation now. So every Friday I wear red. Actually,
And I don't, so I'm a bad dad.
well, I knew we were recording today, and I usually try to wear something a little nicer than a t-shirt because I know it's on video, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
And also, so tomorrow, actually, we're doing a 8-mile walk. So Zach went to boot camp 3 years ago, and when he was at boot camp, we couldn't really talk to him. Certainly no phone calls, and we got letters and stuff back and forth, but
he's a boy, so it was very few.
they were few, but they were good, and we were very appreciative of them. And that time period was like the longest 13 weeks in freaking history.
13
That
and a
was
half.
longest that we've ever been away from our kids. Certainly the longest that we had ever not talked to them. Like, it was really hard for us. And he was going through all of that, plus all of the physical demands of boot camp for the Marine Corps. Well, so when he was in boot camp, we had this little calendar thing, and it would tell us basically like, this is day 10, and on day 10, they're going to do this, this, and this, and whatever. I knew that they weren't exactly probably on course for whatever that calendar was, but it was kind of cool
I
to
bet
look
they
up
were.
there. Yeah, that's
I
true.
bet they were right on it.
It was kind of cool to like mark off the days and be like, oh, today he's doing rifle training, or today
It
they're
definitely
doing
made
a
us
whatever.
feel like we were at least somewhat a part of what was going on.
Yeah. So within the first couple of weeks, they did their first ruck, and it was an 8-mile ruck that they did, their first one as a group. And so we saw that was coming on the calendar. So Zach's fiance at the time, wife now, was like, hey, we should do a ruck on the same day for the same amount of time, just kind of in support of Zach at boot camp. And we were like, all right, cool. So we came up with a route here locally that was 8 miles. It includes crossing. We have a 3-mile bridge. It's called the 3-mile bridge because it's 3 miles long.
It's actually not the name of it.
Okay. Affectionately.
I know.
Yeah.
They went through this whole thing to rename it this year.
Yeah.
and
It's
I
like the
couldn't tell you
Chappie something.
No idea.
Okay. Anyway, it
Like
doesn't matter.
everybody calls it
I mean, it
3-mile
does. It totally matters for the person's name.
Sure
But
does,
anyway.
yeah.
So it's literally 3 miles long. There's a sign on it at the beginning that says, make sure you have enough gas. You're going to get fined if you run out of gas in the middle of the bridge. Anyway, so we started 1 mile away from that bridge and then crossed it and came back. So for a total of 8 miles. I was the only adult on the first year, and there was a whole bunch of Zach's friends basically that got together and did this. And everybody, we were carrying big flags and big American flags, big Marine flags, and we were soliciting for honks as we were going across this bridge, right? So we were like pumping our fists and trying to get people to honk at us. And this is a military town. So, people see something that has to do with military and they're gung ho for it. And so we got, I want to say like not quite 200 honks.
You guys were counting them.
Yeah, we counted them. Oh, for sure. We counted them. And we think it was like not quite 200 maybe during that 8-mile trek. So then the next year we were like, well, we should do it again. So we did it again. We had a couple more people this time. We had a couple more flags. And last year, we got like 262 honks. And so we're doing it again this year. It is tomorrow. We've got an even bigger group with more flags. I have recruited more adults this time. So I've got some adults that are actually excited about doing it. Ironically, Zach has never done one of these with us, but that's okay. And so we are soliciting for more than 262 honks on this trip. And I think by next year, we're probably going to turn it into some sort of little fundraiser that we can turn around and donate back to probably some sort of local organization that helps with either the families of those that have people who are deployed or sends packages to those that are out there. But yeah, it's been kind of a fun little tradition. It also happens that I'm training for a Grand Canyon hike, and I got new boots the other day. And so I'm going to they're going to get their first 8 miles to make sure that there's no major issues with those. And I'm going to carry a pack this time. So
You carried a pack on our hike last night.
I did carry. That was only 1.8 miles.
It's basically the same thing.
So that was a good break-in. But yep, got to get the shoulders and back conditioned to carry.
Yeah.
Weight.
Because what's the weight you're going to carry on that hike?
On the Grand Canyon hike is going to be probably about 35 pounds.
Okay.
Which is right at 10% of my body weight. So, and everybody carries pretty much the same weight. So we don't have any guys going on this trip, but if the guys were going, they would probably carry the same weight, which is not 10%. So I'm just saying ratio, you know?
I bet it would be.
It's like, never mind. We don't have to do the math on that.
We don't have to do the math. So
anyway.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good group going on the hike tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hopefully the weather holds
I
out.
know.
The last couple of weeks,
I know.
Between 4 and 6 o'clock, the weather has been gnarly here.
I know. I was thinking about that today as I was pulling flags out of the garage, that I hope that the weather stays good, because if you're in the middle of that bridge and a storm comes up, there's nowhere to go.
Yep.
But yes, we've been having our afternoon storms to keep us from spontaneously combusting because it gets hot.
Yeah, but for the HVAC business, we would rather not do
Yes.
that. We want just hot, muggy, just intense heat.
Yep. Yep.
So, which actually, yesterday we had was it yesterday or the day before? It was the day before. We had a really crazy storm that popped up, and we were on the second story balcony outside your office, like watching the storm roll in.
It felt great.
It was so
breeze,
good.
It was nice. It was windy. The breeze was nice and cool.
Yep.
We could see the clouds coming. We were like, dang, that's going to be a big storm.
And then we had lightning out of nowhere. It sounded like it landed on top of the house.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So
we're like inside.
it got us to demonstrate in real time whether or not we are fight or flight or freeze.
Yeah.
You are flight and I am freeze.
I'm hauling ass. Let's go.
Yeah. It took me a second.
It's like, why are you sitting there? Come on.
I fetal position in the chair, actually. It scared the crap out of me.
Which, ironically enough, then we came in the studio today to start recording, and we had some minor issues from the lightning storm, which we have, the electricians will be happy to know this.
Yes.
We have
A whole hose.
surge protectors and breakers.
Patch cords with
all
surge
the
protectors.
things.
Yes. Yep.
And no question, that was a direct hit.
I mean, it didn't hit the house,
I don't
but
know,
it
it
hit
felt
the
like
ground very close to the house. Yeah.
But what we know right now is a ceiling fan and a couple of the recording equipment, and it wasn't even the equipment that popped; it was the plug. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because some of this podcast stuff's really expensive,
Right.
And I never thought much about it because I'm like, man, there's like 5 different surge protectors between, but that's okay. We're good, and we're back to it, and let's get into what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about delegation, right? And the fact that you can't delegate a role without the authority, right? So one of the biggest mistakes leaders make is they assign responsibility to somebody like, hey, you're the service manager, but then they don't grant them the power to lead it. So we want to dig into that just a little bit, and hopefully this is a helpful topic, because I know that when business owners start that growth process, one of the hardest things they have is letting go.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, nobody's going to do it as well as I am, and
Yep.
they're not.
No, yep. It's okay.
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
80% is what you need.
I know. So this topic comes actually from both sides of the coin, right? So in the companies and stuff that I work with, there's a lot of times that my main point of contact, the person I work with the most in the company, is not the owner, it's the ops manager. And so we have the side of the coin where we are the owner, and we are disappointed in our manager's performance, perhaps because we haven't given them the proper authority to do what they need to do. But on the flip side, if you're the ops manager and you're being told that you are responsible for departments, but then you don't have the authority to make really important decisions about what needs to happen in the future of your department,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a crappy situation to be. It's a helpless situation to be, because it's like, how are you going to hold me accountable for this? But then if somebody needs to be removed from the team, I don't have the authority to do that.
Or hiring them.
Or hiring them or
sometimes.
whatever. Yeah. So, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this today, because I'm pretty sure that you and I probably would approach the situation differently,
Yeah.
as we do with a lot of different things. So yeah.
Yeah. So when you give somebody ownership of a department, it is difficult, but you do have to let go. Like, you got to let them lead it. And I think about like a football analogy, and you'll read sometimes where an owner will force a coach to bring on a team member, which, by the way, it's typically a quarterback, right? So it's like a leader that they're demanding that someone come in, which I think that happens a lot in our industry too, because the owner will get passionate about like a top selling, producing, whatever, and then kind of force them on, which, how are you going to say you run the department, you run the team, and then go, but here's the team members you've got and you have no say.
Right.
That's a
Right.
tough spot to be.
Right. So how do we handle that? So if we're the owner, how do we know whether or not we have properly delegated enough authority to the person that's in that position?
Well, I think you have to. So I want to start with this too. So there's a really good book out there for anybody who feels like they're in that position of. I know most of the listeners are the actual owners, but I'm sure there are people that listen that aren't. And there's a really good book out there. The author's name is Clay Scroggins. Great book. The book's called How to Lead When You're Not in Charge. And I actually got to meet Clay last year. He did a keynote at Residio's conference. Residio's conference. He did one of the keynotes. A great speaker, just a great presentation, and it's a really good book that I think that I read it. I met him and I was like, oh, I want to read the book, and I read the book, and there was a lot of insight to help me think about that when have somebody that's leading a team that doesn't feel like they're in charge. So I think that was a really good book. But I think the biggest trick is making sure that you give them the tools that they need, right? So they've got to have, we talk about team member commitments a lot, but they've got to have, what does their team member commitment look like? Not just for the person coming in, but the service manager. Like, what are the things that they're in charge of? Because at the end of the day, if they don't have a very clear set of goals, then everybody's running on opinion and feeling, and that doesn't do very well.
Yeah.
Because everybody's opinions and everybody's feelings are different, right?
Yeah. So if I am the owner of a company and I have a service manager or an operations manager, and that person comes to me and says, I have been trying like crazy to get Jimmy to do XYZ, and it's just like, he doesn't care. He's not doing it. I don't know what else to do. I think that it's time that Jimmy needs to move on from this team and somewhere else. If I were to have delegated authority correctly and I was going to handle that situation correctly as the owner, what would I do, or what would I say to my service manager or ops manager?
If a service manager came to me with the scenario of somebody on their team and they gave me what you just said, my first question would be, what topics are you going over in your one-to-ones? Like, what are you going over? Because part of doing one-to-ones is that you're not blindsided. No one's blindsided. So if Jimmy is not doing what he's supposed to do, Jimmy should be really crystal clear on what metrics he's missing and what it is that he needs to do in order to correct that action. So that would be the first thing is I would ask the question, like, how are one-to-ones going? We actually have our team fill out sheets. So I would say, let's go over the sheets together and let's figure out where the hole in the boat is.
Well, I mean, we've been doing one-to-ones and I've been going over this stuff over and over and over, and then they do it right. And then they turn around and do it wrong. Like the same thing. It just doesn't make any sense. Like they'll do it 3 times right and then 4 times wrong.
Well, I think with anybody, when it comes to team members, if there's a task, like one of two things are happening. They either don't have the ability to do it correctly, which is on the leadership. Like if they don't have the ability, you got to train them. You got to coach them. You got to teach them. You got to hold them accountable to it. Or the second thing is willingness. If they don't have the willingness to do the task correctly, there's no amount of coaching, training. Nothing's going to fix willingness but the owner.
Is which one of those 2 options does cognitive ability fall under? Like,
Well,
what if they're never gonna get it? No, it's not. They want to do it well, but they're never gonna get it, no matter how many times you train on it.
then they're in the wrong seat in the bus, and maybe on the wrong bus.
But yeah,
like it really just depends, because if you have somebody in, and let's say they're a service technician, there is. Sorry to anybody who's a service technician that's listening. There's nothing that's rocket science, right? Like there's enough training out there that there's really not anything they shouldn't be able to do. Now, that's not to say that every situation, part of being a service tech is you go into a job or a project or whatever, and there's a million variables.
Right. You have to be able to diagnose it.
If it's like a one-off, like, oh, you know what, I was working on this boiler or geothermal unit and we normally don't, and I couldn't fix it and somebody had to go out and fix it, that's a totally different one-off deal. But
all right, so yes, we've been doing the one-to-ones. Yes, we have done so much unbelievable amount of training. It's just not, they're just not doing it, or they're doing it so inconsistently that it's like blatant unwillingness to conform. I hate the word conform is so dictatorship, but but I just really don't think that this person needs to be on the team anymore. So am I good to stop and let them off the bus?
I mean, I don't think a service manager should have to ask permission to work on their team. I mean, part of the authority is build and grow your team. As a owner of the business, if someone is in charge of a department, sure, there needs to be a conversation to make sure all the ducks are in a row before somebody's terminated. But ultimately, that head of that department needs to be the one who's in charge of their team. And think about this. If you're the service tech that comes to the owner and says, hey, look, we got to let Jimmy go. Jimmy's like, he's crazy. We got to let him go. And then you don't let him go. Well, what is Jimmy going to do? He's not magically going to get better.
Yeah.
He's going to get worse. And now you got a service manager who's now become disgruntled because he can't run his department, right? So they need to have the authority to remove anyone from the team. They need to be able to hire and fire. Again, not to say without some assistance, but they need to be the ones that ultimately make the final decision of does he stay or does he go?
I think the support, I think that level of support from the ownership is really big. From a delegation, like from the owner's side of things and from the delegation side of things. And even this goes for parenting. I know there's so many correlations between running a business and being a parent. But it's like you have to give them the parameters, make sure they know the boundaries, and then step back and support what even if they are about to run off the cliff, you got to step in.
Right.
But if it's just because they don't do it exactly the way you would do it, doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
And so, and sometimes if the mistake is little, it's okay to step back and let them make the little mistake because they're going to learn faster.
Right.
If you let them do that instead of say, no, don't do it this way without having the experience. Okay. So
I mean, I'm going to make one point on that because that was good. Your job as the main leader of the business is to manage the result of your team, not micromanage the process. And I think that gets a little bit blurry sometimes where they want to you gotta put this thing over there this exact way. No. Manage the outcome of the business. And that's why, KPIs and scorecards are so important, because you don't care how they get to the result. And I'm going to preface it by saying this. The reason you have to have core values and a mission statement is you can't go break laws, and you can't, be against our core values, but
Right.
their job is to get the result. Your job is to support them and clear out anything in their way, any kind of BS that's in their way, any kind of speed bump. Your job is to clear it out of the way so that they can go and be successful.
Right. Yes, for sure. Okay. So then on the flip side, so I'm an operations manager, and I have identified, again, same scenario. I've identified that there's somebody on the team that doesn't need to be on the team. And I do not have the authority to let them go, as very clearly indicated by our ownership. And the ownership does not feel that they need to go anywhere. So my department is struggling. I'm extremely frustrated. I cannot get this person to do what I need them to do. They know that I don't have any authority. So what's the motivation for them to do what I want them to do?
Yeah.
So how do I handle that situation? My thought process or idea on this, like me as Kristen, not me as the operations manager, was I personally am a very, human behavior is very fascinating to me. And so I've done a lot of research and study on human behavior in general. So my thought process was, well, if I'm in that scenario, I would try to figure out what is a driving factor for that person that I'm having a hard time with. And maybe I can motivate them to do what I need them to do from a different angle that has more alignment with.
Yeah. Matching the whys.
Kind of. Yeah. If I know that I'm going to have to deal with this person on my team for a period of time.
I mean, in that scenario, and I don't know the business, I don't know the specifics. I don't even know if this is made up, but I can tell you that there is a high likelihood that business does not have clear team member commitments. They do not have one-to-ones on a regular basis. They don't have scorecards, and they're not having meetings. Like, I just know that, because when you do those things, rarely do you find somebody that comes to work and their mission is to be the worst person there.
Right.
Sometimes it feels like you have a couple, but that's never really anybody's mission, right? So if you're really doing one-to-ones correctly, and you have scorecards that you're talking about on a regular basis, at some point, that person that you're having the problem with, they're not making the mark. At some point, they're going to want to leave and go somewhere where they're like, well, I can just go hide and go be crappy somewhere. Great. We invite you to go work for the competition. I can tell you personally, I have done a lot of one-to-ones that have resulted in someone leaving the business. Not in a hostile way,
Right.
but, simply speaking directly to people. I think a lot of times we tend to speak in weird little passive aggressive terms versus, hey, Jimmy, I'm looking at your numbers. Man, you're off for like the 18th week in a row.
Right.
Is there something I can do to help you? Or is this just not a good fit for you? Like, you will be amazed when you just ask direct questions to people, the answers that you get back.
It's almost like you're giving them permission to be like, actually, this is
Yes.
not working out.
Correct. Correct. Because the chances are when it's subjective, right, and it's left up to people's opinion, they always go, I'm doing great. That guy's just a jerk. Okay, well, that's fine. I may be a jerk, but if we're looking at a scorecard and everyone else on the team is able to hit these standards and you're the only one off, what's the common denominator? And I speak in direct terms that way to people if we're going through it. Like, what is the common denominator? What is it that you're not getting support-wise that these other people aren't? And I can tell you the first answer is going to be, ooh, can you guess what it is? Technicians out there, I know, I can already hear them. I can hear them yelling.
They don't get the good calls or
That's
something.
exactly right. I don't get the good calls.
Yeah.
Right? I don't ever get the Johnny over there, he gets the good call. Jimmy gets the crap calls, right? Which is not, that's not the case, right? It's Jimmy is the common denominator So
Well, actually, it could be the case because Jimmy's numbers might be crappy, and so dispatch, who is being held accountable to numbers and productivity, might be like, Jimmy sucks, so we're gonna put it on Johnny instead
Right.
and give Jimmy the crap calls.
Well-
but he dug that hole himself, so
and here's the deal. Jimmy should know that.
yeah,
Jimmy, you're getting the crap calls because your booking rate or your close rate is 5%.
Right.
Well, if I send you on these calls, I'm burning leads. So let me ask you this, Jimmy. If you're in my position and you got a guy who's closing at 85%, another guy at 75%, a dude at 60%, and a dude at 5%, who are you sending the best jobs to? Like, just ask the question.
right,
Like,
yeah,
stop being a candy ass and just ask the damn question, and then let's see what happens, right?
yeah,
I'm telling you, at some point, if you're doing these on a regular basis, Jimmy doesn't want to be the crappiest one there.
yeah.
Jimmy's going to go find another team. And you want Jimmy to go work for the competition
Yeah, maybe Jimmy just needs to be a helper on an install crew or something.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like not even on the team.
Yeah. Probably another bus.
okay.
But I don't know. Like maybe
Right.
maybe he's like, look,
Jimmy says, you know what? I'd rather answer the phone and book the calls.
great.
Maybe.
But here's the deal. That pay looks different. So just lay it all out, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Jimmy. Well, here's the deal. If you go to a helper status, this is what the pay looks like versus what the pay does for a revenue generating service guy looks this way, but to move to this is a different way. So I'm such a big believer in just be clear.
Can y'all hear his passion about how important one-to-ones are?
Man, it's there's so much. Oh gosh, there's so many things that you can uncover, that you can really just learn about your team if you just ask the question.
Yeah.
Don't be a
For sure.
sissy.
For sure. Okay, so reeling it back in just a smidge on the actual topic at hand,
Okay.
which was
Well, that was the topic. I didn't get too far. Off
no,
the
no,
mistake
no,
there.
no, and it was all super good conversation. But thinking about that whole, is there enough authority? What do I do if I don't have the authority, but I've been given the title? That's a lot of times too, is
Right.
you're given a title, but you're not given the authority that goes with it. The deep-seated culture ramifications that result from doing that are very hard to quantify, but very evident.
Yeah.
So if you promote somebody into a management position and you give them a title, but then you don't give them any really real authority to make like big decisions in their department, then ultimately the team they're leading knows that.
Correct. 100%.
And they will run amok. They will run amok until that is. It's very much like that. I asked the person I was talking to. I said, if you were to survey your team right now and ask them the question, how many bosses do they have? Or actually, no, not how many bosses they have. Who is their boss?
There you go.
If you were to ask your team right now, who is your boss? Would they be able to tell you? And he said, nope. Because they essentially have a couple. They have him kind of sorta. They have the owners kind of sorta. Like it's and when you have a scenario like that, it's very much we're gonna go to the
Who's gonna give
parent
me the answer
that
that
gives
I
me
want?
the answer that I want. Exactly.
Technician team members they're not stupid.
Yeah.
And I remember a phase that we went through with our business in Atlanta where they would do we used to joke around, we'd call it the mom and dad thing. And it wasn't, they would go to you, they'd go to me, and they would go to our manager at the time, which he still works for the company. He's amazing. But they knew who to ask what question to get the answer that they want.
Correct.
And there was times that we would find out that they would call, not get the answer they wanted, call the next person, tweak it just a little bit to try, right? They would go down the lane of, and then when a decision was made that they liked, they would roll with it. And then when somebody questioned them, they'd go, well, Justin told me.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. They figured out for us that if they asked you for a cash advance, they would get it.
They would get it.
But if they asked me for a cash advance, I would tell them, no, we're not a bank. And so they didn't ask me for a cash advance. They would ask him. And then Justin would be like, hey, by the way, I gave so-and-so, $200 cash advance. And I'm like, what are you doing? We're not doing cash advances. We don't do that anymore. And he's like, well, I couldn't tell him no, whatever. I said, here's the deal. which you can tell people know now, but at the time they were like giving you this whole sob story about how they needed gas and they couldn't get to work and blah, blah, BS. Okay. So I was like, all right, here's the deal. If they come to you, say, I don't know, you have to ask Kristen.
Right. All about lanes.
Yeah. And so they did that one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody stopped asking about it.
Weird.
It was the
They
weirdest
solved their own
thing.
problem.
Yep.
That is a really good example of the money thing.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of businesses still, a lot of owners still struggle with that. It didn't take me very long.
It was very,
Once I got over that hill.
Well,
like,
and
nah,
you,
we're good.
like they, from an empathy, human to human standpoint, you feel bad.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you don't manage what they buy.
Nope.
And if they're buying tattoos, cigarettes, and monsters with their money, and then they don't have enough money to put gas in your
on
truck
Friday.
to get to work, that's
Right.
not your problem.
And you're not going to solve that problem by giving them money.
Correct. You're just going to enable the whole thing. Anyway, that's a whole other
That is getting off the
conversation.
interstate there. But
So-
but it does go back to making sure you understand who your boss is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And who is your direct report,
Yeah.
so that you know who to go to.
Yes.
So you were asking about, okay, so if I'm the service manager in that role, what do I do to basically close that
Yes.
gap?
Yeah. How do I get people, how do I lead them, even though I kind of haven't really been given the authority to fully like run the department?
Step one is you have to have the authority to lead the department if you're responsible for it. It's not even an option. Like,
So
you have to.
So you're gonna shoot me when I say this, but I've never read how to win people. What is it? How to win friends and influence people.
You have never read
I've
that
never
book?
read it. I know. Okay.
So disappointing.
But I feel like, based on the title, that might be a good way to be able to influence people to do what you want them to do, even if you're not their direct supervisor or direct leader.
I mean, there's definitely some parts of it, but this goes, like, the scenario we're talking about now is a little bit deeper than that, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm the operations person, I'm going to sit down with the owner and going to have a one-to-one, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
They're going to get the one-to-one of here's what I need from you
Yeah.
in order to run this department successfully. And that's probably difficult to do. It's probably not easy. But at the same time, don't be aggressive about it.
What if what if they're your parents?
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, again, it just, lead with good, the Coaching Habit. Like, as we talk about books,
Yes.
Coaching Habit's a really good book. And you think about it, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, do you have some time that we can schedule? I really want to talk about some things, but I really want to make sure that I get, that we have undivided and we're distracted or not distracted, and we can kind of go through some stuff. Mm-hmm. They're not going to say no.
Right. Yeah.
So then when you go sit down with them, you can say, hey, listen, I've got some ideas and I need some help from you. And honestly, I need some permissions.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the list of some things I want to talk about. I mean, it's basically you're doing a one-to-one to your boss without the boss even knowing it.
Yeah.
But you got to go through a process in order to be able to manage your team.
Mm-hmm. I have always advised when I'm talking to somebody who wants to convince somebody who they're not the decision maker, they want to convince the decision maker of what something they need to do. That was a lot of words, but I think we understand what we're saying here.
We got you.
Okay. So, my suggestion or advice is always to, one, try to anticipate a little bit what the rebuttal might be and have a solution for it.
Yeah.
So, the more prepared you are going into that conversation,
Yes.
shows that this is not like a off the whim emotional thing. I have thought
that's not
about
the time to
this.
do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I have thought about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have thought about what some possible solutions are. This is, this is not just like a I want my way conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the more you can come to the decision maker having already made the majority of the decision means that all they have to do is be like, yes or no. Like there's not a whole lot of decision making then on their part because you've already laid it all out for them.
And the chances are you're trying to take things off of them.
Right.
So if you're going to the owner and you've got a game plan, then with this game plan, it's going to remove decisions and frustration and tasks from them. And really, at the end of the day, what you need from them is I need you to, if anybody calls you and says and ask any question, I don't care what it is, I just simply need you to say, you know what, that's a great question. You should call your service manager and ask them that question. And it doesn't take too many of those before people will quit calling the general manager, right? I mean, there's a lot of business owners that my recommendation to them is quit answering the phone.
Yeah.
And at first they're like, I can't not answer my phone. Yeah, you can. Because typically when people are calling you, it's just for verification or validation or they're not a paid audience. Your team is paid. They're professionals. Let them make the decisions. Again, but there's certain things that need to be. Right. But if you as the term goes, give it 5, bro. If you give your team some time and then call them back, I guarantee you the majority of the time they're like, I already figured it out.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
So again, if you go to the manager or the owner and you've got a plan of what it is, now you just have to give them the tools of what they need. Hey, just direct it all to me. Hey, I've got some hiring and some interviews that I'm doing. I'm going to do the first phase. Do you mind helping me in the second? So when I bring them in the second, I would like to bring you in and let you meet them. Oh yeah, great. Right. Hey, I'm having a 1-to-1 again with Jimmy. I'm having some major problems. Do you mind joining me in that 1-to-1 so you can be a part of this process? Because I really think we're getting to the point where Jimmy's probably not going to be able to stay on the bus anymore. Right. So again, lead like you're not, even when you're not in charge.
Right.
And it is not easy, but it does take a little bit of authority and some plan. And if you go at it emotionally charged, you're going to lose every time.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Gosh, we went into a lot of stuff there.
I know, but that was all
good
really good. Yeah.
All good stuff. So, any last questions you got on that as we?
I don't think so. I feel pretty confident that our examples are going to figure it out. They're just going to have to have some conversations with each other.
And if not, I mean, reach out. We're here to help any way we can.
Yeah.
Again, a couple books that we would recommend on this type of topic would be How to Lead When You're Not in Charge, Clay Scroggins. It is on Audible. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Good Lord. I mean, I've read that book 100 times, and you've never read it.
Okay, but was it written in the 20s, and so therefore it's not like common day language? And
I mean, I don't know, sorta.
Okay.
Love those books. Those are my favorite. Anything Dale Carnegie, I like. And The Coaching Habit. That was another one that we talked about.
The Coaching Habit is really good. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's a good book.
Yep.
So, listen. If you're a owner and you've got some leadership on your team and you feel like you're not giving them the authority that they need in order to be successful and the tools they need to be successful, do not hesitate. Ask them.
Yes.
They will tell you.
Yep.
Again, sometimes, people need permission to raise their hands. I don't know why that is, but they do. And so this is a good opportunity for that.
I mean, if I could interject on
Absolutely.
that, technically that owner should be doing a 1-to-1 with their manager anyway. And so therefore that would come up during the 1-to-1 because you'd be asking them every time if there is anything that they needed. But anyway.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. And not in a general, vague kind of way.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're empowered to run your department? Again, I think, not to go through the whole thing again, but I do think in the scenario you're talking about, that's usually a culture of not having a strategic organization.
Yep.
Organizational plan. So
it tracks.
There's a lot of stuff in there. So listen, we appreciate you all coming and hanging out, whether you're listening to the podcast while you're cutting the grass or doing a hike or doing a workout, or if you're checking us out on YouTube, we appreciate it so much. And as always, thank you for coming and hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We'll see you guys. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.